everyone. Welcome to the fifth series of webinar hosted by Capline Healthcare Management. So let me introduce myself to you all. I am Anshali Kaushik and I'll be the host for you today. So today we are going to discuss about streamlining revenue cycle management and establishing paths for increased workflow, increased cash flow for healthcare practices. So I would like to introduce myself. I have an experience of around 7 years in the RCM industry, and using that expertise, we are going to have an interactive session today about the denial management, how to add additional cash flow to the practices. Now, before we dive into the specific, I would also like to introduce our organization, Capline Healthcare Management, with you all. So we have years of end-to-end RCM experience, and we have been serving multiple healthcare, medical, and dental providers across the United States. With a staff of around 450 plus professionals, we offer a single-stop shop for multiple medical and dental providers across the United States. Now, without any further delay, let's jump to the highlights of today's topics. So let's begin by establishing a clear understanding of RCM, and then we will discuss about streamlining RCM, right? So RCM is the entire process of managing financial interactions between the patients, providers, and payers. So it starts from the patient registration and it ends at the collection of payments from the providers. Now, RCM has its own importance, but it also has many challenges, and many healthcare providers have been facing such kind of challenges which are impeding their financial growth. So for optimizing RCM, it is very important that we address these challenges effectively, and that's what we are going to discuss in today's session. So our goal for today is to educate healthcare practices on financial empowerment. We are going to understand some billing complexities and how the practices can handle that. We are also going to discuss some strategies on optimizing revenue cycle management. And last but not the least, we are going to discuss on promoting growth and sustainability for the healthcare practices. Now, when we talk about streamlining RCM, it's not a one-time step. So it's a product of multiple steps that need to be ensured so that we can achieve our final goal, which is streamlining our RCM. So it includes ensuring timely and accurate reimbursement to the providers. It includes denial analysis, rejection analysis, making the prevention strategies for that. Also maintaining some KPIs which are there in the healthcare industry. It's also important that data privacy and security is also ensured patient satisfaction, and last but not least, which is staff training and development. So first of all, we would discuss the first point, which is ensuring timely and accurate payment to the providers. So how can we achieve that? First of all, it is very important for the providers to make sure that their claims are submitted within the given time frame from the insurances. It needs to make sure by the billing team that the claim is submitted no less than 48 hours from the date the service has been rendered. Now, let's say the claim has been submitted on time, but what happens that the claim was denied due to incorrect insurance information, or maybe patient's demographic information was not correct. So how can we achieve minimizing these things? We need to streamline the eligibility and benefits verification process. It's very important that patient's information is validated even before the appointment is scheduled, so that we can minimize such kind of denials, and timely payment is secured for our providers. Now, the third thing is adhering to the billing and coding guidelines. We all know that there are always any new update coming in the healthcare world, whether it's related to dental or whether it's a medical practice. But the entities keep sharing new updates, insurance keeps updating their guidelines. So unless the billing team or the people who are handling the AR are not aware about these updated guidelines, the timely payment is never going to be the final solution. So here is some good to know information for you all, which includes some recent healthcare updates related to the medical and the dental world. So if you can see on the screen, CMS has implemented 41 new procedure codes into the International Classification of Diseases 10th revision, and that is effective since April 1, 2024. There is a new version of ADA dental claim form, which is also effective from January 1, 2024, and it provides crucial updates that helps streamlining the claim processing. As a part of its 2023 Medicare Hospital OPPS and ASC final rule, CMS has included a new billing code for dental surgical procedures in outpatient hospitals, which has increased the reimbursement rates for these services from $200 to $2,000. It's a big gap, right? And when the billing team is not aware about such updates and these guidelines, the providers will always lag their payments, or they would never get the timely or accurate payment from the insurances. So it's very important for the team or the billing team or the coders to know or get aware about these guidelines. Now, in the same topic, there is one more thing that needs to be made sure, which is minimizing the denials. Now, this brings us to our next topic of discussion, which is denial and rejection analysis and their prevention strategies. So, if I talk about denial and rejection, it has always been a struggle for multiple healthcare providers, to manage their denials, to reduce their denials, and even providers sometimes gets frustrated with these upcoming denial EOBs. So most of the providers have nowadays chosen to outsource their AR, and that helps them to focus mainly on the patient's care because their AR is being handled with the skilled professionals who have expertise in handling the denials and RCM. Okay, so it is very crucial that we follow these steps so that we can make strategies for the prevention. So first of all is tracking your denials effectively. So we live in a digital world and we have multiple kinds of apps, softwares available in the market which can help us achieve these. Even our clearinghouse portals, our insurance web portals, they provide the features where you can buy the features and get the data ready. You can have the denial analysis done. You can see how many codes were bundled, how many were denied due to incorrect billing, and everything. So you get an insightful data from these clearinghouse portals as well. So once we have that data collected, it's very important that we learn from our past mistakes. Right. So it's very important that we once we have the list of these denials, we categorize them, and that category those categories are not very stringent. You can modify them according to your needs. You can either categorize your denials into true and false, or you can categorize them into preventable and non-preventable. So let's say for an example, Cigna is a very well known insurance in United States, and they have a strategic timely filing limit of 95 days. So let's say we are aware about the timely filing limit of Cigna, which is 95 days, but the practice submitted its claim on the 100th day from the date of service. Now we got the denial of timely filing limit. So of course, even if we're going to appeal that, we are going to send a reconsiderations, whatever we try to do, but insurance is never going to pay that because the basic insurance guidelines were not adhered to. So this is actually a true denial, but of course it's a preventable denial. So these little things need to be taken care of by the practices or the billers or the coders who are taking care of the AR so that their denials can be minimized. And this is something that can help you analyze your open AR and set some prevention strategies and set some checklist. If I talk about setting checklist before filing of the claim, so the billers or the coders, whoever are responsible for claim submission, they can make their own checklist. They can have some items listed on there which can say whether this guideline was followed or not, whether the ICD and CPD mentioned on the claim is actually as per the insurance update or not. So that helps us in the prevention of such denials. Now, of course, we need to learn from our past mistakes as well. So using a strong tracking system to collect all this data is also very important for the practices. So before we move on to the next topic, I want to share some recent healthcare updates as well related to denials. So providers has observed an increase in denials in 2024 with some estimating an average denial rate at 3.9%. And including that Medicare Advantage denials have increased 55.7% in the first half of 2023, which is a lot. Commercial revenue impacted by denials rose 20.2% from January to June 2023. And if we talk in terms of the revenue, approximately $262 billion are denied each year, and per provider, it comes out to around $5 million. And there are also some stats based on the trends from 2022 to 2023 based on the denials. All right. So now we have discussed about analysis of denials. We have discussed about creating the prevention strategies. But what's the main cause of these denials? What is the reason of the increase or the surge in these denials? Without identifying that, it's very hard to, prevent getting such denials. So these are some 3 common reasons, or maybe 3 top reasons that our providers have mentioned as per some market studies. So the providers has mentioned that there is a lack of skilled professionals in their staff, and that has led to a surge in denials, because person who has never handled the denial, or they do not have a crux of the insurance updates, they are never going to get it right. So everyone has to be well aware about the guidelines as well. Now, the second point is staff attrition in training. So there is a lack of resources, and the providers are always busy with the patients, right? So it's very hard for them to take out the time to educate the people or educate their staff related to these things. So that is one of the main reasons that people are not aware about what they are, doing on a claim, or how they need to resolve a claim. And the next most important thing is also growing denials backlog with the insurances. So it mainly happened after the COVID, and although this situation has improved now, but yeah, it impacted a lot once COVID hit the world. And these are some market research that our providers have mentioned based on some researches of very well-known websites. So 62% providers have mentioned that their organization did not have sufficient data and analytics to identify the original submission issues, which is really a big problem, because without knowing the original issues, you cannot prevent that, you cannot resolve that. There are 61% providers who cited a lack of automation in the claim submission and denials prevention process. As you can see, 46% said that lack of staff training was a top challenge. There are 44% providers who said that lack of in-house expertise was there because of that there was an issue in the denial management. 33% said that organizations' technology was out of date and inadequate to effectively manage insurance denials. And last but not the least, 30% said that staffing shortages were a key factor behind the healthcare claim denials. Now, we discussed about preventing the denials, we have discussed about the analysis and also the reason of these denials. But how do we keep a track of these progress? And that's where the KPIs come in the picture, right? So there are some common healthcare KPIs, or I would say KPIs in the healthcare industry, that the practices should follow in order to track their performance, in order to track their growth. So the providers can use these KPIs to compare their performance from the previous months, or to find the areas of improvement. If you see on the screen, here are some very common KPIs that are there in the that are set for the providers and should be followed. So one is the clean claim ratio, denial ratio, and these are the set standard from MGMA. If you see, clean claim ratio should be 95% for the practices. Denial ratio, days in AR, the first pass ratio should be 90%, and your net collection ratio should be 95% as well. So these are some benchmarks that has been set by MGMA, and these really help to track the progress of any practice. You can always, get the details about this from the websites. Now, when we are talking about streamlining revenue cycle management, how can we not discuss about the patient care, patient satisfaction? Because patient is the key to everything here. So high patient satisfaction, how can we achieve that? There should be a clear communication between the office staff, the provider staff, and the patient. There should be a clear communication regarding the out-of-pocket expenses, regarding their insurance coverage details. Now, if there is less paperwork, if the patient has to do less paperwork, it's very beneficial for the patients. And a streamlined appointment process is also a key to the patient satisfaction. Now, showing respect and empathy, this is a feature, this is an attribute that the staff can have for the patient, so that they have the patient satisfaction with them. Timely response to the patient's queries, following the ethics and compliances within the practice. And last but not the least, accepting and being open to the patient's feedback and trying to implement them is very, it's a very crucial thing that will always lead to a higher patient satisfaction rate. And higher patient satisfaction leads to more clinic visits, because a satisfied patient will refer their friends, their families to the same doctor, which of course would increase the footfall. Now, in regards to the patient satisfaction itself, data privacy and security is also a key feature. Now, there is an importance of strong data privacy and security because we live in a digital age. There are multiple types of features available in the market. There are multiple types of apps that are available in the healthcare market, which can help providers to strengthen their security measures. Now, apart from using these apps, there are also some very simple practices that a provider can choose to maintain within their practice. So they can carry out regular HIPAA assessments within their staff. They need to train their staff on how to handle the PHI information. They need to appoint a privacy and security officer within the practice so that they can keep regular checks on the data privacy and security. The PHI access should be restricted to some people only, and there should be an implementation of a breach notification plan as well. Now, when we are discussing about the data privacy and security, we also need to discuss about a recent incident that shook the entire healthcare industry, and that was the Change Healthcare breach that happened recently. So what happened was, there was a cyber attack in February 2024. The attacker was ransomware group, and later it was handed over to Ransom Hub. So they went into the the Change Healthcare system and leaked in the entire patient's data, the medical records, and everything. The PHI was compromised, and then later on they demanded a ransom of $22 million. Now, what really happened? How can we prevent these things to happen? So we need to first of all understand how did all this happen. So the UHG CEO, Mr. Whitty, revealed in a testimony that they did not have the MFA authentication on their systems, and that led to this major compromised data with this cyber attack. So the Wall Street Journal reported on April 22 that hackers first infiltrated the company's network on February 12th, and then using compromised credentials on a remote access application, and later identified that the technology provider was Citrix. So pretty simple. If the organization would have taken just very simple steps like using MFA authentication within their systems, using doing regular checks on HIPAA compliance, so might be this attack could have been avoided. And that's why we suggest our providers to make their systems secured and their data to be not to be compromised. Now, last but not the least comes the staff training and development. So we have discussed multiple things here. We have discussed about rejection, denial analysis, creating the prevention strategies, implementing them within the practice. But if the staff is not trained with all these things, it is never going to be a resolution. We are never going to get a resolution. So everything, including everything, the providers must focus on keep training their staff and keep them skilled with the updated guidelines or the healthcare updates that are rotating in the healthcare industry. So now here are some of the testimonials that our clients have shared for us, and it's really a pleasure and always good when clients acknowledge our work. So you can all have a look what all our clients have to say about us. Thank you so much everyone for joining today's webinar, and it's been an absolute pleasure sharing this time with you, and I really hope that this webinar was an insightful journey for you all in order to get to know how to streamline your RCM. But our journey doesn't end here. You can always reach out to us and share your feedbacks, or if you have any questions, you can call us at the number on the screen which is reflected. And there is also an email address that you can share your queries to. Our website address is www.caplinehealthcaremanagement.com. Okay, I hope that would be all for today. Thank you so much for taking out the time to join this webinar, and stay tuned with us for our next series of webinar that will be revealed soon. Thank you so much, guys.